Pro Painters, Oklahoma City presents Montez at midday. Hope everyone is doing well on this magnificent Monday celebration of things to come in here. Take that off. Okay. And boom. A little technical difficulty setting up here, but how we doing, good folks on StreamYard, as well as the folks listening to us on Mycitymymusic.com. Dre Montez, how's everyone doing? I hope you had a great and magnificent weekend. The weather did agree with us over the weekend. I do believe so. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much. It does not go unrecognized or unappreciated. We do take it very, very seriously, considering the week that we had and the weekend that we had. We got some things to get off our chest on this Make It Happen Monday edition of the show. If you are celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating an anniversary, happy anniversary to you. If you have the day off for good reasoning, meaning no kids are there, the dog is at the sitter, the kids are at the sitter, you actually have the day off in the house to yourself, congratulations. We know how that alone time can be. It can go unwanted, unrecognized, but definitely would not be unforgettable. Got high fives in the building. Chest bump. Let's hug this thing out a little bit. Oh, there we go. Oh. Let's get through our pillars of the day. Let's let it go. Stay calm. It's on you. Give it time. Ignore them. Don't compete, and laugh. I think laughter is one of the best remedies out there for self-healing, mental health, mental stability, and understanding of the situation of being in the moment and not forgetting the details of the day. Speaking of the details of the day, I think since all sports have pretty much shown us their version of an all-star break, their version of the next class in when it comes to the Hall of Fame or the list that's out there, we all have our own ups and downs and thoughts and discussions on what does that all mean. I think we're to the point right now where, for some reason, we are caught in this whole discomfort zone on the expectations of a said sport that we're into, whether we're watching it for our team's sake or just something to do. We're in a tailspin right now in sports on what should we expect from today's athlete, considering the type of money that they're making versus the type of entertainment that we want as fans. What is too much? What is overdoing it? And we cannot let go of the days of yesteryear. We know those baseball players that we fell in love with in the 90s, the type of baseball seasons that we had in the 90s. The 80s and the 90s and early 2000s were a learning curve in baseball. Arguments were started, but we've been through a lot. We've been through strikes. We've been on lockouts. We've been through the steroid situation. But the game really has not changed that much. Now, other than balls and strikes, we get it, and the speed of the game, we understand that. That's going to go with time. But the robot situation with the balls and strikes, I think that's taken away from the purity of the game. And baseball is probably one of those sports that we rely on the purity of the game. Other games are being influenced by technology. We never thought it would come to the fact that baseball would be influenced by the way of technology with the balls and strike situation. But over the years, we know that home plate umpiring can be a very trivial position as an umpire. You're not always going to get it right. But over the past 5 years, they have really, really let us down when it comes to calling balls and strike from the home plate situation. But we thought baseball was making the right strides with their officiating, the way it's done, what they require out of their officials, the training that the officials get. But with all that training, there will come a trial and error situation, and that's what baseball is at right now, the trial and error of a situation. And it's more of the officiating. It's not the game itself. I don't think the game of baseball has changed that much over the past 30, 35 years. But the way the game is being officiated is starting to affect the outcome of the game. It's getting involved with the players. It's getting involved with the managers, where there's predeterminations on how this game is going to go based on who the home plate umpire is, based on who the officiating crew is. Now we go over to basketball, and it seems to be a little bit of a heavier situation on expecting value and fair play from the players in the NBA. What do we want? Do we want a competitive regular season? We want them to understand what the All-Star game means to the fan? Or should we as fans just be thankful that they even want to participate in the All-Star game, considering what we expect of them during the regular season and the postseason? I think the NBA has got itself in a situation where they think they need a face to sell the league, to give it more of an identity crisis. But the players that the league wants to be the face of the league, these players are not interested. If you didn't see the video of Anthony Edwards and former President Barack Obama, you're missing some guaranteed what the hell is going on type moment. Just the fact, the way Anthony Edwards was engaging with former President Barack Obama in that video raises eyebrows itself, let alone the respect. Just the whole conversation was just weird. But I don't think Anthony Edwards needs to be the face of the NBA. I don't think it needs to be Luka. I think the NBA itself should sell itself as a league, a team sport, instead of just trying to find one particular individual to sell the game, to push the game to the higher limits. I don't think that's fair to the NBA. I don't think that's fair to the players. We are in a social media stance right now when it comes across the board to sports. They want access of you on social media, at the games, during commercial break, in the locker room, after the game, at the club, when you're out to eat with your family and loved ones. They want all that access. And I think that's fine. I think the NBA has put itself in that situation along with Adam Silver and the stars that carry the NBA. There's nothing wrong with it. I think we're running into a huge problem trying to make this the 80s and 90s and early 2000s of the NBA, and that's not where the NBA is headed. It can't be Ja Morant. That was a little bit too much, trying to pressure him into that situation. We saw what happened before. He cost himself a lot of the bag situation money due to off-the-court situations. When you're that recognizable in a particular sport, you have to do the right thing. You got to have a better sense of character, better judge of character of your surroundings. And that's not where some of these players are at. These are young men. These are kids anywhere from 21 to 27 years old. Did you make the right decisions at the age of 21 to 27 years old? I don't think you did. So I think it's unfair for us to try to put all this pressure on them to be the face of a league, to carry a team, to get in the postseason and go as far as you can. That's impossible. I mean, I appreciate what Minnesota has done. I appreciate the fact that Anthony Edwards has worked on his jump shot. But it's not enough. It's not enough. You need stamina. You need the understanding of to know what it takes to go in the NBA postseason. And with all this load management, I don't think too many teams are equipped to do that. They're not. They're getting tired after 2 back-to-backs in a week and a half. But we allowed that to happen. So now we want to put a face with that. Nobody wants to be put in that situation because of the comparisons that we're putting these guys on. We're comparing them to Larry Bird. We're comparing them to Michael Jordan. We're comparing them to Magic Johnson. We're comparing them to Kobe. We're not going to get another group of guys like that again. Never. We're never getting anybody that loves basketball the way those players did. These guys like the ball today. They like the balling aspect of it as far as practice and in-game situations, but they don't want it that day in, day out, just think about basketball 24/7. I think those days are long gone and over with. And we must appreciate the talent that is given to us today instead of trying to rewind the clock and compare these players to what they did in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. That's unfair. That's unfair. We kind of eased into that with the NFL. What the NFL gave us from quarterbacks in the mid 80s and 90s, I don't think we'll see another run like that. As bad as everyone wants to see Aaron Rodgers still play, I don't think too many offensive lines are deemed as a pocket protection type of offensive line because everybody wants a quarterback on the run nowadays. They want you to come with these RPOs. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is at that point. It may be 2 to 3 teams out there that has the offensive line in place that wants a pocket quarterback. He can't run that much, but you give him time and he would unload on you. He'll put 350 to 400 yards on you easily if he has that amount of time and you have plays designed for a pocket passing quarterback. But if you put him with a team who's been on this RPO mission for quite some time, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. You need a mobile quarterback, and we know he's not that mobile. He goes left to right as in to get rid of the ball, not on the run each and every time. So wherever Aaron Rodgers go, it has to make sense. Not just getting somebody just because they have that type of resume. And I think a lot of teams in the NFL have learned for the past 5 years on the adjustments that are made on the offensive line and at your quarterback position. They both have to go together. Just because you were a great quarterback here don't mean you can go into this system and do the same or even better. It has to make sense with the type of skill set that you have. And a lot of teams don't think about that until week 4, week 5. Now you got to make all these different adjustments because the offensive line needs to adjust to the quarterback playing style instead of the other way around. The quarterback and the left tackle got to be on point. Got to be on point. The quarterback coach need you. All these teams that win in the NFL or make that push to go further in the postseason, they have an uncanny relationship with the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator. Some it's the same person, some are multiple people. But when they all worked hand in hand and it makes sense to the people and it's putting up the numbers, you'll be amazed when people actually use the attributes in building a game plan. Other than just putting a game plan together, you know that this quarterback and offensive line can't hold up that long to execute the plays. But I think by last year's quarterbacking standards throughout the NFL, the most and highly statistical season in the NFL, I think teams are really learning to trust in the system and trust in the skill set of the quarterback and understanding what your offensive line can do. Once that happens across the board and in sports, I think we can stop making the comparisons to teams that were good in the 90s, players that were good in the 90s, of that nature, Hall of Fame comparisons. Let's enjoy what we have before we just go instantly. Well, in the 90s, they wouldn't have done that. I'm quite sure in the 90s, a whole lot of these things wouldn't be done. But the game is changing each and every year. There's a new way to do it. There's a new quarterback on the horizon doing something we haven't seen in quite some time. The speed of these receivers, the strength of these tight ends, every year it gets better and faster. But we keep wanting to go back to the days of yesteryear instead of appreciating the game where it's at now and where it's headed to. That's why I think and believe truly right there. But we're caught up in that moment of trying to put everybody in that bubble, that little 10 to 12 year span across any major sport you follow. There was that time, about 10 to 12 years, where everything was fine. And we got caught in that little time warp thinking it's always going to be that way. No, because there are more and more athletes coming through the tunnel. More and more of them are coming to show their face, to show their skill set, to show us what they can do. Some it takes a little longer, some are just instant. But at the same time, the comparisons to yesteryear across the board in sports, I think a lot of athletes today are tired of those comparisons and just want you and want us to enjoy what they are bringing to the game. But I think since the All-Star situation, what they did in 4 nations and what the NBA did for their All-Star. It's really questioning people on what are we getting and what are the expectations of today's athlete when we look at the bag versus the performance. Somebody lying to somebody. And it's getting close to that pivotal time of the year. March Madness in college basketball, men and women. And also, Major League Baseball season is about to start. Spring training is underway. A lot of talk and a lot of chatter about this baseball team here in St. Louis. The expectations. How far can this pitching staff take us? Did we need to make a key acquisition? How long is Arenado going to be with us? He vested in this whole year. We got his back. He got our back. What's the team situation like? Or are we just going to say, hey, we're rebuilding this thing. We're going to be lucky to get 75 wins. I like when the doubt is on your team because players read. They pay attention to the media. They know what they can and can't do as a team. In the words of Mookie Betts, he said World Series are won in spring training. And I tend to believe that. And baseball is one of the most superstitious sports in America to me. Baseball players are very, very superstitious. And if you break that mold, oh my goodness, watch out. But if we get this team all on board on what it is, whatever it is the Cardinals are trying to do, are we trying to get to 90 wins? Are we trying to get to 95 wins? What is the push? What is the message? I keep saying this. Well, I mentioned it last week. We need something. We need a new celebratory moment as fans, something to do. Let's just not go crazy, folks, and they hit a home run. We need some type of a celebration. We need a song. We don't need Grimace. We don't need Chewbacca walking across the roof of the stadium. We need something original, something obscure, something to throw up the people. Everybody look at St. Louis. Look at what they're doing in St. Louis. That's what we need. And I could be a part of that. I really could. I could definitely be a part of that across the board. I like when other ball clubs do it, whether it works with them or not. It's fun when ball clubs go on that little crazy song rant or a new costume or a new fandom comes out. It's interesting and fun to watch when other ball clubs are doing it. I want to be that ball club this year. We need to come out with something. We tried the 12 and 24 last year, going to the few games I did last year, holding up a sign saying 12 and 24, meaning 12 World Series championships here. And we're going to get out 12th and 24. Well, that didn't happen. Things happened last year. We didn't play bad baseball, but we lost some games we should have won. We came back in some games last year. We had no idea we could do that. If we can keep that going and just concentrate, not in the front office, let them do their thing. Let them handle all that. And let the team worry about what they can control on the field. And the fans, we continue being the great baseball fans that we are. I think we can have a positive influence coming out the gate on this year in Cardinal baseball. I can't help but think back of the days when the National League was hitting and running, stealing, bunting the ball, putting a strategy together. Manufacturing runs. See, you can't put that in a statistic, but manufacturing runs was a Cardinal way for quite some time. We kind of got away with it, went away from it. The days of stealing in baseball, look here, that the ones that can do it, like the kid in Cincinnati, that Dela Cruz kid, man, look here, excitement. People still in third and still in home is being it's like an exciting part of the game. They say pitching is a big part of baseball success. Pitching, the best pitch in baseball is a first pitch strike. I don't care what anybody say. It is the best thing it has going for it right now. Not saying we have the world's greatest pitching staff, but we have the ability to put some quality performances out there on the mound. We really do. If it's your first time tuning in, thank you so much. Again, if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you. Speaking of birthdays, tomorrow's the counselor's birthday. Happy birthday to the counselor. What's going on, Doc? What's going on with you? Thanks for tuning in, boss. Shout out to all the folks that were out of town this past weekend participating in softball. Some teams down in Florida as well as Mississippi this past weekend. Congratulations to all the teams that placed and put forth the effort in the softball world out there for sure. Got another softball episode coming up this Wednesday. I will be posting the details of that tomorrow as well as Wednesday morning before the show. But we have a softball series tournament talk. Last week was our first episode where we had members of PSA, the Premier Softball Association, on the show. CEO Dennis Jackson and tournament director Trey Noddles Moore was on the show. What happened right there? What was that noise from? Guess that was a truck going down the street. And it had to be a great episode talking about the expectations of this softball season and what the tournament situation is like, reflecting on last year's season, and again on the different tournaments and classifications of this year. So this Wednesday, we're going to have another episode of a softball series with your boy, Dre Montez. So that was a lot of fun as well. And also, over the weekend, they had a little thing called the Pet Parade down in Soulard. Did you go to the Pet Parade, did you? But before that, we had brunch yesterday in Lafayette Square in honor of the counselor's birthday that his lovely girlfriend, Miss Tess, put together. And we had it at Polite Society in the Lafayette Square area. And listen, I don't do this often, but when I do, just take heed. Outstanding service, by the way, Polite Society. I believe Bailey was our server. I think we went through 2 cups of coffee yesterday. Great conversation and people. And to my man Kurt and Miss Sarah. Kurt told a story yesterday that I think I laughed yesterday for 3 hours. We're talking about playing video games. You know, all of us in our 50s still play video games. And Kurt shared a story when he was playing the racing game. You know, he got the wheel, he got the pedals, he got the helmet. Hold on. He had the fan blowing on him as he's playing the racing game because he wanted to feel like he was really in the race. That right there is dedication. That's like next season, I want to watch football with a helmet on. I'm getting me an actual NFL helmet. I want to watch football with a helmet on. I want to feel like I'm in the game. I want to be a part of the game. A part of the game. Yesterday was a day of firsts. Charlie, my man, huge Raider fan, and his lovely wife. Charlie shared a story yesterday I can't believe. It is 2025, ladies and gentlemen. And my man Charlie sent his first email. I said the same thing. What do you mean you sent your first email? You mean your first email today? It's like, no. I sent my very first email. Shocking. 2025. 2025. When he say he doesn't do social media, he means that. No social media affiliation, nowhere. He uses a cell phone just for 2 things. Look up music, to talk on it, and text message. That's it. And Tess had the greatest story ever yesterday. She's a pug lover, dog breed. And there was one at the bar, Friendly's in South City. Again, shout out to Friendly's for last Thursday. Great hockey crowd last week during the USA Canada game. Very knowledgeable crowd. Shout out again to Friendly's in South City, 3503 Roger Place. When you see a dog, you know, most people want to go up to the dog and pet the dog. What's your dog's name? Or I used to have a dog like that, you know. I'm the same way. I see a miniature pinscher, I automatically think of my baby Espen, ESPN. If I see a Rottweiler, I think of my baby Sadie Mae Glutz. But both my dogs are gone, and it's been I guess a learning curve of getting over losing a dog. It is If you have a dog more than 10 years and you lose that pet, that's some hard stuff. Nobody can prepare you for that. No therapy, no hugs. Late night dog commercials, I still tear up a little bit, get a little teary eyed, nose get to running for no reason. So I still have my own dog issues I'm going through. But Tess took it a step further. This woman tells these people, "Oh, I used to have a pug, but my pug had transgender sex." Yep, you heard me. Yeah, yeah. Who tells somebody that? I said, I could tell the way them people looked at you. You said something crazy. What did you say? And she told me that. I bet those people, one of them is at work telling somebody what was said to them yesterday at the bar with their dog. Just the things you hear at a bar would just, everyone do exercise this week. If you have a normal watering hole that you go to chat it up, try to get some one night stand action, or to go watch sports, or go eat some food, just open up your ears and listen to the conversations around you. People talk about some of the craziest shit at the bar. Like, what? What is going on over there? Speaking about what is going on, this is the time of year I get really nervous right now for professional football players. The ones currently in the NFL and the ones with the expectations of going to the combine, going to the draft, and possibly being drafted by NFL team. This is right now. This is the downtime. This is when dumb decisions are being made. Should I go back to my old high school and visit the neighborhood? No. No. No one go back home and go to that neighborhood you fought so hard to get out of. They do not want to see you. No. No. Stay away. For those of you in the NFL, already in the league, hear me out. Hear me out. There are cameras everywhere you go. If you stepping out on your woman or your dude, just be aware. Cameras are everywhere. Let's keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Again, I repeat, if you are in the league, no, do not go back to where you were born and raised at, to the old neighborhood. Don't do it. No, them days over with. That old neighborhood don't want to see you. You're fine. Keep it moving. To those of you that are hoping to get drafted, hear me out. Hear me out. Stay off of the internet. Stay off of the internet. Please. There's nothing good on there for you right now. Go ahead and keep with your workout. Keep that focus. Keep that focus. You gotta, keep your eye on the prize, because right now everybody is investigating you to make sure that you're worthy of all these monetary and financial decisions going to be made on your behalf, image, and likeness. So let's keep that in mind, people. That February to late March, it gets a little rough for football players. They get a little antsy. They get a little antsy. They want to go out and be with the people. Get liquored up and say the wrong thing. That's just, we know you want to go on vacation. We know, but just keep in mind, they waiting on you to screw up. Let's not give them any of the food. All right, let's keep that in mind. And also, March Madness is about to start. In women's college basketball over the weekend, we saw the Fighting Irish go down over the weekend. And you college officials and the men and women, let me tell you college officials something here. Look, we know basketball just like y'all know basketball. We don't know what's going on with the fouls in women's college basketball versus the non-calls, the phantom calls in men's college basketball going on. Look, since this gambling thing is an issue, They're looking at game film across the board for any suspicious activity in points, play style, and calls of the game. They are watching it all. They are watching it all. So you think you're slick and getting away with something. They have people with nothing to do but watch film. But watch film. And they're going to figure this out, college basketball, men's college basketball, and women's college basketball. These officials, the past 2 weekends, there's some hanky-panky going on, huh? That's something going on. We know officiating is a hard job. All we want you to do is do your job, do your best. But when there's actual proof that shouldn't have been a call, and you're still standing by it, that is where the fans really get to going off at the TV. They get to going off at the TV right there. Speaking of going off at the TV, Mizzou, the way you played last week versus what happened Saturday, I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But Mizzou is fun to watch. I can't believe I'm saying that. I've seen Mizzou play a total of 4 games this year. They're a fun team to watch, especially at home. The way that place was on crunk last week down in Columbia, as the kids call it, Como, as the kids call it, they were crunk. I did not expect that out of Mizzou basketball this year at all. That was shocking to me, mind-boggling to me. Speaking of mind-boggling, we all have been guilty of what we like to call binge watching. Binge watching shows. Something everybody always talks about, and you finally get the opportunity to watch a show. Watch it all the way through. Boom. Then you get done and you have a moment with yourself, trying to figure out what the hell you just watched, trying to summarize this whole thing. Well, I did the same thing. I did it with the TV show Scandal with Kerry Washington. I can't look at the White House the same anymore since I watched this show. I can't look at politics the same anymore because I watched this show. Based on this show, on the 7 seasons that I watched, sex and real estate will bring you down in politics. Everybody owes somebody a favor. No matter what, I want that favor back. Everybody records each other, whether audio or video or a combination of the both. The next time I go to D.C., I'm just going to walk around and just really look at some things. It's been a minute since I've been to D.C. Been a minute. But watching that show, I can't even look at a press conference the same way anymore because something else is going on behind the scenes. Is that much freakiness going on in D.C. in the White House? You think? Are they really getting down like that in the White House? Are politicians really getting down like that the way they are depicted in that TV show, Scandal, or Dre, is it just a damn TV show? Well, which one is it? Because Law and Order TV show, but they tell you these are crimes that are depicted from real life situations. We just changed the name. So watching that TV show and then looking at reality, looking at the TV show, looking at reality, it's like when Planet of the Apes came out. I went to the zoo the next day and went straight to the monkey cages and just said, they up to something. I could see it. Some things I have a hard time going back to normalcy now that I've watched the TV show Scandal. I uproar. I have so many questions about things that was in this show that happened in IRL, in real life. Not the way it was done in the TV show, But something happened here in real life that was depicted in that TV show, not one time, not two times, but several times over 7 seasons. I did not watch that show not one time it was on. Not one. Kerry Washington, a little bit too, she can act way too good in those adult sex scenes. A little bit too good. A little bit too good. But a damn good TV show. I enjoyed it. And one of the writers on that show was the lady that was accused of creating all these lies in real life. She's a writer on Grey's Anatomy as well. I don't know what to believe. The things that come to us on the box known as the TV. I don't know what to believe anymore. Are they telling the truth? Some form of truth? Is it all lies? Is it really a game, Kendrick? It makes you question a whole lot of things even more. When you're watching a TV show, and there's something in that TV show that happened in real life, and you're saying to yourself, well, wait a minute, how did they, but hold on. 7 years ago, well, for 7 seasons, this show was on. And there's an episode dealing with the balloon situation that happened over in New York on the East Coast, where nobody knew what it was. The situation with the planes, the situation with the cell phones exploding. All of this was depicted in that TV show. That's based in D.C. These people controlling the free world, basing decisions over sex and real estate and who owes a favor to who. Is that the way the world acts? Is that it? Is that really it? All these documentaries and movies and mockumentaries about the world of sports, do they really do that behind closed doors? They really just playing chess without feelings and emotions? They don't care about the normal people, the small folk. The way they run their team is completely outside of the box, the way we would run anything. It's just a game of Monopoly to them. Is that really how it works in the real world of people with billions of dollars instead of us thousandaires? I would hope not. I would hope not. I think moving forward that we as fans, let's go back to the drawing board with the NBA. Let's just go at it like this. We understand they're going to be combined about 85 to 93 pointers a game, combined with both teams. Those are going to be their attempts. That's the way basketball is now. There's nobody posting up nobody. No. It's run and gun. Let's just enjoy the talent that we have. We're giving some heartbreaking news about Wemby, done for the season. Blood clots. And the history of blood clots in sports, especially basketball, does not have a happy ending whatsoever. They're saying that the way the game is played now and the way they're trying to market this game, this was up there for Wemby to take over as far as being a face of the league. He's young, he's talented, he's a 7-footer. There's more coming to the league with those type of attributes coming. But the shutdown factor of Wemby and these blood clots is something to pay attention to. Then you also got Joel Embiid. The process. Trying to process the situation with his knee. Where are we at with the NBA? Are we in good hands moving forward the next 5 years on about who's about to exit out of here in the ways of retirement, what's coming in the league, and what's in the league right now? Are we okay moving forward the next 5 years in the NBA, or do we need a generational type athlete to come forward with the smile and grace, the game itself, become a household name, ready to take this torch? Do we need that, or can the NBA survive just off teams, being good teams? From the Celtics to OKC, whatever the New York Knickerbockers are trying to put into place, the Utah Jazz, the Denver Nuggets, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Are these teams right now where they're at, are they good enough to be billable the next 5 years in bringing more and more seat fillers, more and more subscriptions, more and more revenue to the NBA where the NBA owners are happy and the league is happy? Are we okay? Or do we definitely need a face of the league to sell this thing? I like the team perspective on this situation. Putting all that talent on one person to do what was done in the 70s, 80s, and 90s and early 2000s of the NBA, I don't think the game is at that point anymore. Like baseball, for instance. Baseball had a hard time after the strike, after the doping situation and steroids, COVID, all that mixed into baseball. That's a hard hill to climb. But for the likes of the San Diego Padres, the LA Dodgers, the Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the Houston Astros, the Cleveland Guardians, the Kansas City Royals, teams of that nature came out with some great team performances, good numbers, great style of play. Showed a lot of character for the game. The way they won championships. That right there to me saved baseball because the stories that came along with it. Not carrying an old player. Not having a giant payroll. Showing you how valuable and important coaching is to the likes of a Terry Francona. What that man can do with talent. He's like a Rick Pitino of baseball. You give him 25 ball players that want to play baseball, he can put a winning formula together. He's going to get you to the playoffs. The rest is up to you how far you want to go in the playoffs. But Terry Francona has that golden torch to me when it comes to coaching 25 baseball players. I like everything he brings to the table. But baseball has had a hard climb kind of bringing the fans back. And now with this situation on this payroll situation, should baseball go to the salary cap? Is baseball digging himself a hole with the likes of a payroll of the Dodgers, the payroll of the Padres, the payroll of the Yankees, based on teams who don't have that high payroll but are trying to have a sustainable living and understand of being a competing baseball team? How can we compete with the likes of payrolls of $380 million and up? With the talent that we have. To me, I kind of like that when they put a team that doesn't have that much of a payroll versus a team with a 350 and up payroll. And they show you the comparisons of the averages, the style of play, and the outcome of the game. I like when they do that. That gives those guys that's not making that much money, that team not making that much money, a little push, a little kick in the tush if you want, if you don't mind. I like seeing that. Not a David versus Goliath, but hey, like Billy Beane, that Oakland A's tribe he put together. Trying to just fulfill the numbers. I may be losing a 321 average in my lineup, but between these three guys here, I can get a 321 average. I can get those same numbers out of that one player we let go, out of these three players here in the lineup. If you get the players to buy into the system that you're selling, you can have overall success. But if nobody has a clue of what's going on and there's no communication, you get a 17-win team by All-Star break. That's not good baseball. And then people try to get rid of the whole team by selling the team off in large chunks. That's not the way it goes. It's not the way it goes at all. And with the NFL draft fastly approaching, just keep this in mind. I think one of the hardest things to do as an NFL draftee, if you're drafted in a top 5 and you're a quarterback, I think that's hard because you're not going to a winning franchise. You're going to probably one of the worst teams in the league. That's why they're in the position that they're in to draft at such a high position. So if you're a quarterback being taken with the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick, you have work cut out for you. The expectations are not that high on the team to do well, but the pressure is on you on how fast can we turn this around. You're the quarterback. We brought you in here to make a change. I think the last person to truly make a change being the number 1 pick at the quarterback position was Cam Newton when the Carolina Panthers drafted him at number 1. I mean, they didn't have a squad. There was nobody there to really give him the confidence he needs and get me the ball. I can help you stretch the field. No. When he won MVP, that was the cha-ching factor that nobody saw coming. Then, of course, he goes to the Super Bowl, loses to the Broncos, and kind of everything kind of changed for his demeanor far as the wins versus losses aspect of the game and understanding the business side of football and your job side of football. They're two different lanes in that avenue. So if you are a high draftee as a quarterback, just keep that in mind. You're not going to the best team in the league. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That's something to look out for as the draft is approaching fastly as well. This is like that danger area right here for football players because they get bored and they think they can go back to the hood and visit people, and no. And that's when trouble arises right there. Trouble is on the way. Speaking of trouble is on the way again, it seemed as though we're picking up a trend again. We're picking up a trend of going through people's cell phones again. I don't think anything good can come out of you going through your partner's cell phone. Personal belongings, purse, wallet, pockets, being nosy, going in a drawer. You know damn well you have no business in being in that drawer. Why are you in that closet? Get out of my shoebox. What are you doing in her purse? Why are we back on that? It seems as though we've done it again. We've lost trust in one another. That trust issue in 2025, I think it's easier to gain trust, but you can lose it real fast for someone. An invasion of privacy, they call it. And I understand some lawmakers are trying to make it a felony if you go on somewhere's phone. And to me, it is. People can have their banking information in their phone right now. They have their bank account attached to their phone. All kind of private information is in there. It's not always about you, Josh and Stephanie. It's not always about you. Going in people's phones, wallet, purse, a drawer you have no business in, closet, coat pockets. Why? What are you looking for? What happened to the good old-fashioned days? I think you cheating on me. Why do you say that? What happened to those conversations? But just instantly, automatically going through someone's phone, thinking you found evidence of them stepping out on you or vice versa. Suspicion. Some people are proud members of going through folks' phone. Oh, I go through his phone all the time. Oh, I go through her phone every damn day. Wow. What does that do for you if you're in a relationship and you have to go through one another's phone? What is that doing for you? How did we get to that point? I remember the days of the 80s when we used to dress alike. Remember couples used to dress alike by matching outfits, hold hands at the mall, and dressed alike. You got her name on your shirt. She has your name on her shirt, but they the same shirts. What happened to those times? When the last time you dressed alike with your partner? I see more and more people dressed alike like their animal, their pet, their dog, their chickens, their cocker spaniel, their old mule. But when the last time you dressed alike with your partner or your spouse? What happened to those days? When did the trust factor just vanish? I think the fact that everyone has a camera, there's no anonymity anymore. You're going to get caught. You're going to get caught cheating. So just tell the truth. I believe the more truthful you are, the happier you can be. The happier you can be. But this going through cell phones and then calling the people, why are you messing with my wife? I don't think that's the way it should go. Why are you messing with my man? How about all the people come together before you assuming that the man was at fault or the woman is at fault? Let's get all the people involved. Let's get them on. Not like a To Catch a Predator situation. No. Let's get together. Let's do this. Let's sit down and have a conversation. And then for the folks out there that are in open relationships, you don't have to tell everybody that you're in an open relationship because now they're going to go home and try to do the same damn thing. Find your happy. Find your peace, whatever it may be. But if it causes you to go through phones, go through a purse, go through pants pocket, coat pockets, the glove box in their car, in the trunk, if you have to do all of that, I don't think you're being truthful to yourself or truthful to the relationship. They say that there's someone for everybody. They say that. They say that. I'm starting to think it's not. I think if we enjoy the moment, enjoy the people that we're with for the allotted amount of time that we have them, I think we would come to a true and sensible understanding how to appreciate relationships. Instead of getting them in a position where you have to leave the moment that person come in, you don't want to hear nobody with their name, your whole face gets disgusted just on the fact you heard that name. We need to step way beyond that and past that. We have good weather on the way. Nice concerts are coming here. Outdoor type, huh? Lawn chair type, huh? Okay? Whole lot of good things are coming up to do things outdoors with one another as we used to back in the dizzy. We're not Hollywood. We're St. Louis, and we ought to be proud of it. Look at that amazing weather that we had yesterday. It can be done. We can do this. There's no snow anywhere. We're making driving uncomfortable for us. There's no ice anywhere, making walking uncomfortable for us, huh? At all. Speaking of walking and ice, it was so glad to see Peach over the weekend. As I told you guys, she slipped and fell on the ice and was in the hospital for a couple of days, and things are looking good for her. So, Peach, it was great seeing you this past weekend, and continued recovery as you get better. But again, happy birthday to the counselor, even though his birthday is tomorrow. Had an outstanding brunch at Polite Society in Lafayette Square. It was a great time. Amazing service. Again, shout out to Bailey, shout out to Amelia, and shout out to Grace, the great people over at Polite Society. You know, you say what you will about the push for help for supporting small businesses throughout St. Louis and Illinois. It needs to be recognized out there when you come across these small businesses. Some of them get it. Some kind of got mixed up and think they're big-time corporate by their prices. But for the ones that really and truly, genuinely get this small business, the mom and pop, the husband and wife, the brothers and sisters out there that have a business together, these small businesses, we do appreciate it. And when you bring that thunder in service quality and food, we definitely tell everyone about it. So now we got to get ready for Mardi Gras. That's our next big event ordeal. And for the folks that do this to me every year, well, the real Mardi Gras started today. Look here. Look here. The second is the parade. I'm here in St. Louis. I'm not in Nolens. I'm not in Nolens. You folks that know every day in the Mardi Gras celebration, I'm not talking to you. Now, I'm just talking about the parade, folks. That's it. I think we're looking pretty good weather-wise for the parade that day with the people, by the people, and of the people in a situation like that. So, got that to look forward to. As I said, today is Monday. Make it happen Monday. Again, shout out to our title sponsor, CertaPro Painters in Oklahoma City presents Montez at midday. Let the professionals do the work when it comes to painting, whether residential or commercial. CertaPro Painters has you covered. So I think now, with the second half of the NBA season, let's give it a watchful eye. Let's give the NBA another chance. Let's not grade them on what transpired during the All-Star weekend. Let's give the second half of hockey their shout-out. Alex Ovechkin is 13 goals away from Pat's and Wayne Gretzky's record in goals. soccer season here. It's almost caw-caw, caw-caw. It's almost Battlehawk time. Battlehawk, man your stations. Battlehawk time. It's almost that time for UFL. Yeah, baby. In baseball season, horse track season, all this is right around the corner. NASCAR did it again with a photo finish. And don't forget, we also have the Oscars coming up, one of my favorite award shows to watch. But this may be one where I didn't see that many films based on the commercials that I've seen so far. So I got to get caught up this week on the films that are going to be possible winners or nominations at this year's Oscars. So I got a lot of movies to catch up on starting tomorrow. We're going to try to watch up to about 8 movies a day if we can before the Oscars so I can get my voting on and feel like I'm there. I'm going to dress up for the Oscars this year, of course. Well, folks, good people, of the people, and by the people, you folks here on StreamYard, thank you for tuning in to the show today. I really do appreciate it so much. Thank you all. Make it happen Monday, Mamba Mentality Monday. You can visit Mycitymymusic.com. Dre Montez, get caught up on the latest episodes. Not just the video, but the audio version as well on Spreaker. You can catch our latest podcast episode of Who's to Blame. Speaking of that, we have a new episode coming up this Wednesday, as well as we have another softball series coming up this Wednesday as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Good folk, good people out there to you in this wizard of the people for sure. But we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your day, the rest of your day. Do some housework if you have to. Get that laundry put away. Do something with them clothes in the hallway. It's almost leaf time. There's no shoveling of the snow anymore. At least I hope not. I think we're all good on that across the board. But to the folks on StreamYard, thank you again for tuning to today's show. And we will see you Wednesday, same time, same bat channel, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time here from the studio. Until next time, good folk, good people, thank you for tuning in, folks on StreamYard. Peace, and we out of here. To you folks here, MyCityMyMusic.com, Dre Montez. Thank you again for tuning into the show. Let's get some music before we get on up out of here, and we're going to holler at you later.
Learn how to build mics in my workshop class. So give me the sword and let's not make it the last.